Have you ever felt like your life has suddenly slowed down? The doors you prayed would open stayed closed. The opportunities you expected disappeared. People you thought would always be beside you quietly walked away. Your prayers seemed to echo into silence. And deep inside, you've asked, God, did I do something wrong? But what if the silence isn't rejection? What if the delay isn't punishment? What if, at this very moment, God is quietly preparing you for the biggest season of your life? Throughout the Bible, God rarely promoted people overnight. Before Joseph stood in the palace, he sat in a prison. Before David wore the crown, he wandered through the wilderness. Before Jesus began his public ministry, he spent 40 days in the wilderness preparing for what was ahead. God often does his greatest work in hidden seasons. Here are 6 biblical signs God may be preparing you for the biggest season of your life. 1. God is closing doors you wanted open. One of the hardest things to understand is when opportunities suddenly disappear. You prayed, you planned, you believed, yet the answer was no. But sometimes God's protection feels exactly like disappointment. Proverbs 3 reminds us to trust the Lord with all our heart because he sees what we cannot. A closed door today may be protecting you from a painful tomorrow. Not every opportunity is God's opportunity. Sometimes the closed door is actually the first sign that something greater is coming. 2. Your waiting season is making you stronger. Waiting is uncomfortable. We want quick answers, quick blessings, quick breakthroughs. But God is far more interested in building your character than satisfying your schedule. A blessing received too early can become a burden. That's why God often prepares the person before he provides the promise. Every day you wait while continuing to trust him is strengthening your faith in ways you cannot yet see. 3. Certain people are leaving your life. Losing relationships hurts. Sometimes friends drift away. Sometimes people misunderstand you. Sometimes God allows separation because everyone cannot go where he's taking you. Abraham had to leave familiar surroundings. Joseph was separated from his family before fulfilling God's purpose. Not every goodbye is a loss. Sometimes it's God's way of making room for the right people at the right time. 4. Difficult seasons are producing spiritual growth. Nobody enjoys hardship. But throughout Scripture, God repeatedly used trials to prepare his people. Pressure develops perseverance. Perseverance builds character. Character strengthens faith. The battle you're fighting today may be preparing you for the responsibility you'll carry tomorrow. Don't waste your struggle. Let God use it to shape you. 5. You're becoming more hungry for God than ever before. Something begins to change inside you. Prayer becomes less of a routine and more of a conversation. Reading Scripture becomes something you desire, not something you force yourself to do. Your heart begins seeking God's presence more than worldly success. That spiritual hunger is often a sign that God is preparing you for greater spiritual responsibility. Before God increases your influence, he usually deepens your relationship with him. 6. You have peace. Even without having answers, nothing around you has changed. The situation still looks impossible. The breakthrough hasn't arrived. Yet somehow you have peace. Not because everything makes sense, but because you've learned to trust the one who does. Philippians tells us about the peace of God that surpasses all understanding. That peace becomes the anchor that keeps you standing while you're waiting for God's timing. Conclusion. Remember this: Joseph couldn't see the palace from the prison. David couldn't see the throne from the wilderness. But God could. If your life feels hidden, if your prayers seem delayed, if you're wondering whether God has forgotten you, don't lose hope. Your hidden season is not a wasted season. It may be the very place where God is preparing you for the biggest season of your life. If this message encouraged you today, write in the comments, "Lord, I trust your timing." If you know someone who feels overlooked or discouraged, share this message with them. It may be the reminder they need that God still sees them and is faithfully at work in their life. And if you'd like to discover all the biblical truths behind God's hidden seasons and grow deeper in your faith, you can go to my channel and watch the full video. Don't forget to follow for more Bible-based messages that strengthen your faith and help you grow in your walk with Christ. God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video.